Welcome to the Cybele Health Podcast, where we share science-backed tools and expert insights to empower women's health and elevate their lives. Hello and welcome everyone to this new episode of Cybele Health Podcast. Today with me is Luna Zhang, who is a therapist based in here Silicon Valley, California, specialized in emotional trauma, self-worth, and relationship dynamics. She helps individuals reconnect with their authentic selves by working through shame, internalized roles, and the silent pressures behind success. Luna's approach is blending deep emotional insight with cultural awareness to support through psychological reconnections. Welcome to the podcast, Luna.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Luna. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in California.
Awesome. So should we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, what inspired you to become a mental health therapist, and your journey?
Oh, yeah, it's a very important but also funny for me question because my path didn't start in therapy at all, but in criminal justice and sociology in my bachelor's degree. So back in college, I was so, passionate about understanding crime prevention, corrections, and social structures. So I believed if we just build a better system, we could protect our communities and promote a true justice. But the deeper I dug, where I select a lot of related courses, the more I saw how limited that approach was. So at that time, I was able to have a lot of conversation with the real correctional officers, police officers. We do have an interview to have a better understanding, like what's going on, what is the true obstacles in these systems. And then every single time I have a true conversation with them, I feel more disappointed. So I poured myself into every course on corrections and reform, like I was hoping to find the answers. Then later I realized I just kept hitting the same roadblock. Our correctional model is fundamentally reactive. We lock people up after the fact, but we don't give them the tools to heal the trauma that lead them there in the first place. So that realization planted a seed inside of me. If I really wanted to make a difference, especially for the kids caught in the foster to prison pipeline, then I have to or need to learn how to work directly with the families and help them break the cycle of trauma before it hardened into lifelong consequences. So after I graduate, I just so naturally applied to the social work program. So I wish I can use the preventions to help the people, especially around in our community. I began working with adults right now because I wish I could help them to really rebuild themselves, trying to reconcile their inner child. So before they can raise their next generation. So I do have the clients, they have their own young child while they're still learning how to parent their kids. But right now, I'm most likely focused on, building the self-awareness, resolve attachment wounds, and foster a healthy relationship patterns. So, I can talk a lot if I'm going on, but I think that is pretty much the patterns why I choose to be here as a therapist, because I wish everybody can really know themselves well, then they were able to have a better understanding of their capability of love, and then they are more natural to loving one another.
Definitely, yeah. What a fascinating journey. Now, for our audience, Luna has joined our platform in Cybele Health and launched her first course about relationships and how you can establish healthy boundaries in your marriage. The topic of the course is very interesting. That got my attention. It is called Not Your Mother's Marriage. So I really want to talk a little bit about that what what sort of experiences, either a personal level or in your profession, in your practice, drove you to design this course, and what kind of lessons are you wishing to, teach to your audience?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Okay, the reason why we choose not to mother's marriage. So, frankly speaking, uh, we somehow inherited our traumatic form in our relationship. So, for example, I don't know how many of you been witness your parents' relationship. Maybe you are not really satisfied with your mother and your father's interaction with each other, and then later when we grow up, we have our own marriage, and we somehow find out, wait a second, why we have some similar. I don't want to be like that, but how come like our dynamics kind of similar to my parents? I hate that, but I don't know how, and I don't know how to break it. So this is the idea I want to working on as a sustainable relationship dynamic workshop, because I wish people have a more self-awareness to notice that somehow we actually carry out some sort of belief to our relationship. That is the reason why I choose this title, because I noticed a recurring theme. So many professional women would describe the feeling trapped in the same relationship patterns they grew up and watched their mother struggle with. So they probably gonna pour energy into the careers only to come home and shoulder the emotional label and scheduling every appointment, smoothing over any kind of conflicts and holding the family together while their partners stayed on the sidelines and seems a little bit indifferent. So at that time, like as a female, we may think about like how come like it seems like you don't care, but why I the only one is able to watch it, was able to observe that. So that is the turning point. I wish every female who can understand you're not alone. Every single time when you burn out, it's a turning point that it's time to stop and observe and perceive what's going on. Because a lot of time we may also receive a lot of comments from outside, like, oh, like you're so emotional, like come on, it's not a big deal, why are so like criticizing on me? Then it seems like it turns out to be our faults, but no, that's not the deal. So during my clinical experience, I've been seeing these patterns over time. I've seen how these dynamics fuel the burnout, resentment, and a sense of, oh, here we go again. Whenever a couple encounters a rough patch, women would say, oh, I thought I'd learn better than my parents' generation, but they were still wound up replaying the active wife and passive husband script. So sometimes it's even worse. They feel guilty, bringing up, afraid of being labeled as demanding or too sensitive. But right now, I want to tell everybody that you're not too sensitive. This is not sensitive, because that sensitivity is trying to help you to understand what's going on right now. So in this course, I'm gonna try to let you know what you can turn to your sensitivity into a more observation. And I know you may already encounter a lot of frustration in this relationship and heartbreak. And that leads me to design this course, because it doesn't just offer like therapy tools, but a more structured roadmap to disrupt these inherited patterns. Then not your mother's marriage layers in a family's lens to question why we default to concern those certain rules, and a deconstructionist approach to help you to unpack these shoulds, like should, that are not truly theirs. So we can move to a more practical communication strategy, hands-on action plans, and a real-world check-in so that change actually can stick in a longer time. So in short, this course gonna solve 3 core problems for busy, high-achieving women. So the first one is we're gonna identify the invisible emotional label. We make it visible and teach you how to share it. The number 2 is trying to stack the relationship scripts. We're gonna give you tools to rewrite the active and passive roles. Number 3, we're gonna try to identify the burnout and resentment point. We can equip you with self-awareness and practical steps to restore your balance. So at the end of this course, you're not just understanding why you're got there, like not happy, resentment, like always burning out. You have a clear path to a more equitable, feeling with a more sustainable relationship that truly feels like your marriage, not a replay from the past.
Wow, that's definitely, those 3 cores are definitely useful tools to have in any long-term relationships. But I just want to pause a little bit and, talk about the importance of our childhood and watching how people live around us, starting from our family all the way to the extended family and society as a whole. And also double down on the importance of the culture. Most of us, especially here in the Silicon Valley, who are immigrating from different country, we grew up in a different setting, we grew up in a different country, we grew up in a different culture, and lots of that comes with us. Sometimes even I find myself that unconsciously tapping into behaviors that I've seen my mom so many times doing that, even those that I still didn't like and I didn't approve. And I thought to myself that when I grew up, when I'm going to be in that position, I'm going to do differently, but still catching myself, like doing the same thing, from cleaning, the way that I clean the house, to the way that I, interact with my children, to the way that I interact with my partner. So all of that definitely comes, I would say, naturally. So just to identify that and catch ourselves, it's a really important first step. But also we come to a different setting and different culture, different set of expectations from a woman, by the society, and even by ourselves. We have different set of goals now. We want to reach different places, right? So it's definitely brings more pressure to us. Maybe our mothers didn't have, those many different responsibilities at the same time. Maybe they have more support. Definitely they had more support about around themselves. So yeah, it's a very fascinating course. I really enjoyed, listening to that. And there was a couple of such phrases that caught my attention. The first one was emotional labor. First of all, can you explain to us what does it mean and why it is important to understand that, and how that can help us to reframe our relationships?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because emotional label means everything from remembering appointments to birthdays, manage everyone's feelings, or you constantly think about you want to be the mediator that holds everybody's together. Those kind of urges could be the emotional label. So because it happens in your background, it really show up in our calendars or like a chore charts. You're able to write it down. So in my course, we call it in invisible job. And that is in module 1. We can unpack it, how it got more, we can unpack it, how it got normalized, especially for women. So it doesn't even register as a real work. And then I remember in our module 3, we teach couples to make those invisible visible. So the easiest way to start it is to do a quick mental load inventory. So we're gonna sit it down together with a white note or like a notepad. Just list every emotional task you handled, like for example, reminding about the bills, planning the doctor visit, coaching the kids through their hard feelings, check their homework, then check your refrigerator, and then notice your child is unhappy, you're trying to support them, notice your husband is pretty exhausted, you want to say, hey, do you want to cup of tea? Those kind of moments are all part of emotional labor, because we're so focused on other people's needs, and then we just so naturally to give our actions without our fully conscious in our back head. So that simple act of externalizing the emotional label, saying it laid out in a black and white. So it's more like you can say, I've been doing this 8 tasks every week, but your husband or your children were never gonna notice that you do this for your love, for caring. They may think this is for granted. They may never asking, oh, my mom actually do this for actually it's cost her effort. And why emotional labor is so important to notice, because emotional labor may gonna build up and cause burnout, because doing all those mental juggling on top of your real to-do list can really lead to exhausted. And you might not even know why you're so tired, because you're so focused on other people's needs. You probably forgot your own self needs. And the second one would be the resentment. When you're the only one noticing and realizing and fixing everybody's feelings, then it can be so unfair, because you can see everybody's needs and emotional needs, but nobody can notice yours. And it's kind of, for some of our women feels it's kind of shame, because I'm the mom, right? Like, how can a mom asking for like emotional support from like a man and then your child? Seems not something missing, right? So that could lead the last one, the miscommunication, because since emotional label isn't on the chore chart, it's not like, something you can assign to, right? Like, Monday, can you talk with me and just focus on my emotions for non-judgment? It's kind of weird to asking for that, right? So the couples always end up guessing about, okay, the what is my responsibility for tonight? Just take out the trash. Okay, then since my wife didn't really ask me to do anything, then it seems like, good day, she didn't ask me for anything, then I just do my own thing. So right now we can see, since we didn't provide our husband opportunity to notice and try to provide the help, so they may not have the ability to really perceive our emotional needs unless we have to precisely or articulate our emotional needs in the right time. Because why it's right time? Because your husband may also exhausted. He doesn't want to face your emotional needs at all, right?
That's right. So that's the thing that you mentioned about articulating our emotional needs is really important. Definitely, it's very important, because it's not just, it's always the right time, and also choosing the right words and how to describe it, because we don't want to put like blames on, on our husband or on partner or our children even, about ignoring. Sometimes it just, a miscommunication, definitely. So articulating that with the correct words and in the right time is definitely a skill that needs to be learned.
Yeah. So in our course, we call this the invisible job. So that's why we put in the first place, because we have to identify those invisible jobs. Then we can do the following: identify our needs, how to articulate our needs, how to plan our jobs at home. And
that's definitely also very important. I tried this exercise and I started to list, and the list goes on and on. These little things, like, they add up, and that's why even I question myself sometimes that why I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Just quickly browsing in my head was like, I did like this and that, and that shouldn't be too much. Why I'm feeling so exhausted? But then as as you start to listing every single like little things that even don't get to your mind or catch your attention, then you realize, oof, it's a lot. Then you will be surprised at how even you're handling that. So that's a very, very important and important exercise I would definitely encourage all of our audience to do. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, can you now tell us, obviously without breaking any confidentiality, one of the stories that, the experience that you had with one of your clients that you follow through these exercises and tools, and you've seen a very improvement, huge improvement in their relationships, and it transformed their relationships and their marriage
Yeah,
in a good way.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I love that. It's a story time, right? Story
Sure,
say
yeah. We all
story
love
time.
stories.
Yeah. So let me take you into one of my favorite breakthroughs. Think about a raining Thursday evening in one of the family kitchen. Mia is a nonprofit director and who is rushing through the dinner preparation while her young kiddos splash milk on the floor, and Daniel, her husband, sits at the islands and scrolling on his phone, looking calm, almost detached. Yeah, this is happening every day. Like Mia's trying to handle everything, tries to be strong, tries to be responsible mother and also a wife. So Mia came to my office because their marriage relationship, they just realized there's a lot of conflict at home. So at the first time, I just realized, okay, this is the active wife and the passive husband pattern is so typical. So for the first time, for the first session, I invited Mia into the hidden patterns checklist and then do the endless reminders exercise. So at that night, Mia just trying to invite her husband to write down the things, think like, oh, I need to do it on my everyday basis. So Mia actually hires very fast, like pack backpack and clothes and snack, preschool pickup, doctor appointments, reminder, kiddos melting down diffuser, like shower kids, check kids' teeth and give guidance, like check the food in the refrigerator, like already in the time before the bed, like ever ending. Then for the ever endless reminders, Mia also write like feel like, oh, I'm gonna remind Daniel to take out the trash, take out the plate from the dishwasher, remind him to check out the kids, those kind of things. Always remind. And for Daniel, Daniel actually didn't rally too much. So Mia also got very frustrated because Daniel didn't write too much. So Mia described herself as, oh, I feel like I'm driving on the autopilot because if I didn't do it, nothing would get done. But I'm so tired, I can't even remember like the last time I sat down and relaxed. So in our session, I also asked Mia to speak out or directly those invisible job. And she took a deep breath and said, almost in tears, all I want is 10 minutes when nobody needs me. 10 minutes where I don't have to remind everyone about anything, or clean up a bill, or coach someone through their feelings. I just want someone to say, hey, go down, go to sit down. I got this. So this is simple, very helpful plea with no drama or blaming, because at that time, Mia realized I can actually just asking for help with a more precisely request. So we do some exercise in our module 3. We teach Mia how to frame the list like, oh, I need 10 minutes of uninterrupted time after dinner. Because normally Mia is the one trying to clean up the table, go brush the plates, and set everything down, and wipe everything on the table. Then at the first time, Mia also just automatically start to clean up everything. But And also Daniel, also forgot, just stay there and do nothing. But I told them like it's okay sometimes when we forgot, but gradually trying to remind each other that will be better. So eventually, Daniel stepped into the role, giving Mia the space while he handled the dinner cleanup and the bedtime. So within the weeks, Mia reported feeling less, frustrated around the edges. She came back to me and then said, "Oh, I never realized how much, 10 extra minutes mattered because it gives me back sense of control and calm." And that moment of emotional honesty, like her ability to express a simple need, ripped through their home, like shaping the dynamic from the constant emotion to genuine partnership. Because think about that. When Mia did not know what is her needs, he is the one always trying to pushing his husband, were trying to be resentment because she thinks she's the only one carrying everything out. But when she's able to express it out, when she noticed that her husband is able to helping out, then, the tension will just generally and smoothly lower it down. So fast forward to the weekend, the role reverse exercise. So that will also going to happen in our course. It's called role reversal exercise. So Daniel wakes up the Saturday morning and pancakes the batter on his shirt and then trying to change the diaper with the little young kiddos, and then trying to take care of the young kiddo who won't always take a nap in a quiet place. But at the same time, Mia was able to settle into a cafe with her laptop and with headphones, of course, like no interrupts. When they reverse, Daniel's just realized, oh, I'm exhausted. Daniel's realized like how that frustration coming from. Like he was able to realize, okay, so you're not just sensitive. I didn't know it really takes a lot of energy just by, carrying everything together, and I understand why you're always tired. And then over the next month, the clutter of invisible tasks began to more clear. And Mia felt sane and Daniel felt capable. And their home buzzed less with unspoken tension and more with genuine teamwork and more articulate conversation. So it wasn't magic. I didn't really do anything. I just helped them to really be clear about what can be split in the family. So making the invisible visible is the step one to each other's shoes. And then trying to have a better understanding what are the ways on your shoulder or on other people's shoulder. Then we have a better understanding and compassion with each other. So right there is the transformation, not your mother's marriage is all about.
That's very great.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so there's no like a secret sauce because I just want to pretty clear here in this course. We definitely gonna help you to understand there gonna be no more mental dynamics. Then you are able to listen to yourself, and you're able to express your feelings and your needs with guilt-free. And you're always gonna be able to do the smoother check-ins, because when we have those resentment, we may have our emotions be like, oh, why didn't you do that? Because you never. We're gonna using those,
those words never and always. drives me crazy when my husband likes to never and always. It's like that's why I think that choosing the right word and choosing the right communication in the right time, obviously, it changes the whole story. We all understand each other's need and we all respect each other, but it's that how do we say that and how do we, in a constructive way, obviously, it's important.
Yeah, totally. So that's also gonna cover in our course. So you're gonna learn how to use empathetic way, like to express your needs. For example, oh, I've been running bad time every night. Could we trade off a little bit? Like, because think about that the tone sounds actually is different. Like you never do the bad time, right? Huh? And also like you can build up your new routine, because think about that. A lot of mothers at home, they don't have their own free time. They even don't have a time to just sit down, have a sip of coffee and just relax, because moms always think about always planning something in their head, right? So trying to give yourself like space, time to really just enjoy your moment with yourself, like a fun little rituals. That is something we can also help you in the courses. And always the most important thing is self-awareness. So the whole course is trying to help you to be aware yourself and be aware the moment that what are the things bring us into our current situation? What are the reasons why we feel so emotional? Like emotions are not good or not bad, they're neutrals, but sometimes we just like to define it. So I would also encourage, our audience to sense that emotions are always the signals trying to help us to pause and be aware like what's going on in our back head.
I love that. Emotions are always signals. Yeah, that's definitely definitely highlight of this episode. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I hopefully like through this course you will have less panic, more energy, and more, real connection. Because by building our self-awareness into your daily routine, you're not just sharing your chores, you're actually protecting your well-being and creating a more healthy space for your family, for yourself. This is the real power of Not Your Mother's Marriage, self-awareness. The tools you are gonna build for your own and for your marriage as a whole. So you can live with less burnout and more balance.
Definitely. And something that you just said that was very interesting for me was, create new patterns and routines, and those can change. And that like it's a goal, because we grow up in so many different levels. We grow up in our career, we go get a new job, we have a new child, we start a new relationships, and all of these changes requires new patterns. We cannot expect us, even ourselves, to follow the same routine throughout our years, no matter where we are, and no matter whether there are circumstances. So understanding our needs, being aware of ourselves, and willing to establish new pattern that addresses the current needs that we have is really important. Always when we talk about routines, it seems like we are raising a child, but even as grown-ups and as parents, we always also have to adapt to new routines, make it a routine, self-awareness, spending some time for yourselves, even if it's just 10 minutes relaxation. I'm going to share a funny story, a personal story about that. One night I was so exhausted. I had a very difficult day, very challenging, and I was so overwhelmed with the work and at home and everything else. So I went to the bathroom. And then I locked the door. I just wanted to have some peace and quiet. And my little one, who back then she was 4 years old, knocked at the door. And sometimes she comes into the bathroom. I'm sure every mother can relate to that. But then I said, I just need some alone time. And she was like, am I a bad child? Am I not deserving your love? And she was like, where is these words coming from? I just need 10 minutes. But I said, no, you are a good one. You are a very good child. You're a nice one. I love you. I just need 10 minutes to myself. So that was very funny, but also very important, that not questioning yourself and clearing the situation, even for people around you, for your partner, for your children, that you deserve to have some alone time. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that it's other people's fault. It's just that you need some time to focus on yourself and reflect and take maybe a few deep breaths and catch yourself up. Definitely not in the bathroom, but if you have better places, use that. But yeah, thank you so much. It was really enjoyable conversation and definitely very insightful. I learned a lot. I highly encourage all of our audience to take this course and listen to that and apply those skills in your daily basis. It also saves you a lot of trips to your therapist, definitely. Do you have any final words for our audience?
Yeah, actually, our Mother's Day is gonna come in, right?
Sure,
So,
yeah.
in the context of Mother's Day, I think this is a gentle reminder. We celebrate our mother's resilience and love, but we don't have to inherit the same unspoken chores, unspoken the emotional jobs, or the unhealthy relationship patterns. So it's an invitation to say, thank you, mom, for all you taught me, but I'm ready to build up a partnership that reflects my own values and needs. So this Mother's Day, let's raise a toast to our moms for their sacrifices, for their strength, and for all they've already given us. And then let's step into the next chapter. Not to our mother's marriage is about honoring that legacy while creating something new, more fair and more connected for ourselves and the generations to come. I hope everyone can enjoy this course and also enjoy the time with their family. And for me, it's about shining light on those invisible scripts because when I prepare this course, I do hope my words can help you whenever you feel you'll never be heard. You may feel lonely. I think I always want you to know that you're not alone. And as a female, we always share the same emotional jobs at the same time. No matter how old we are, no matter what's the ethnicity we are or the religion background, we're the same actually. So
Definitely.
yeah, so this Mother's Day, consider gifting a learning experiences that nurtures not only for the gratitude, but also a real growth for connection. After all, the best gift can help us to blossom. And that's exactly what Natural Mother's Marriage is designed to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to
Happy Mother's Day.
everyone. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. And let us know if you have any other questions, any other topics that you would like to have a podcast about. If you want to connect with Luna Zhang, you can find her website down below in the note section. And once again, thank you for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day and wonderful week ahead. And until next time, take care of yourself.